Today's review was made possible by my friends over at the DJ Hookup. Order your DJ hardware at thedjhookup.com. What's up, passionate DJs? Now, folks, I'm excited today because it's not every day that I get to review a top-end DJ mixer, but today is one of those days. You're looking at the Pioneer DJM-A9, and I've been really looking forward to putting this one together for you because, well, again, I love messing around with high-end mixers. Now, of course, it's hard to review this sort of thing without using the word industry standard because that's what it is as far as festival installations, club installations, and just by merit of it being a replacement of the DJM-900 Nexus 2. As you look at this, you will notice that it is very similar to what it is replacing, but they've really kicked it up a notch in terms of sound quality. So what I really want to focus on in today's review is this a really good mixer in its own right, capable of claiming the price tag that it wants, and what is different between this and the mixer that it replaces, which is, again, the 900 Nexus 2. So I can't wait to dig into this thing, and I hope you can't either. So let's get right to it, right here on Passionate DJ. The big story with the DJM-A9 is its newfound focus on sound quality. The A9 inherits the audio circuitry from the earlier released DJM V10. Now, the V10 costs almost $1,000 more than the A9, so while neither mixer is cheap, it is nice to know that we can get the best quality Pioneer DJ has to offer in their standard 4-channel offering. Now, inside the A9 are two high-end chips made by ESS Technology, the ES9842 Pro and the ES9028 Pro. The first chip, the analog-to-digital converter, brings in crystal clear 32-bit audio with a very flat noise floor. And that second chip converts the signal back from digital to analog with impressive dynamic range and extremely low total harmonic distortion levels. Alright, it's hard to describe sound quality in a series of numbers and specs, but suffice it to say, these little ESS converters are used in all sorts of audiophile grade gear. If you really want to dig into the specifications, going into a level of nerdiness that even I can't approach, I've linked to PDFs of their datasheets down below. Now, Pioneer DJ also says that they've made improvements to the mic inputs, the faders, and other areas, so look, the short version is, the A9 sounds very nice. It produces crisp, clear, and well-rounded sound. So before we fully dive in, let me just lay out the other specific changes and upgrades from the 900 Nexus 2. There are 3 new beat effects called Mobius, Triplet Filter, and Triplet Roll. Also, the channel select knob for your effects is now a set of buttons. The A9 includes USB-C in addition to the old style, bringing it into the modern era a bit. There's a new feature for the sound color effects called Center Lock, which stops your twisting action at the 12 o'clock position. Now, there's a larger and hugely improved color screen. Now, this helps you quickly and accurately understand the status of the selected effect. It works in conjunction with this more streamlined X-Pad, which is this little touchpad thingy that allows you to control effects with the slide of a finger. Now, my favorite new feature of the A9 is the dual Q system, which allows DJs using 2 different sets of headphones to monitor independent sources. Also, we now have Bluetooth as an input source. It's very easy to use with a button right on top of the mixer and a Bluetooth icon next to each of the source knobs. Now finally, the DJM-A9 is compatible with Stagehand, which is the brand new remote management app for front-of-house teams. The DJM-A9 retails for $26.99 US, and the best place for you to order one is from the DJ Hookup. The DJ Hookup is the highest rated online retailer for DJ hardware, and they made this video possible. Their best price guarantee means that they'll match any authorized dealer's price and beat it by 10% of the difference. They offer free shipping and generous 90-day returns, and they even offer financing options. If you're not sure what the best option is for your purchase, you can simply get in their little chat bar and ask one of their friendly reps for help. Because the DJ Hookup sells DJ equipment to their friends. It's that simple. Hit the link below to order your DJM-A9. And when glancing at the mixer for the first time, you'd be forgiven for not really noticing that it's something new. And once again, Pioneer DJ hasn't really intended to do any kind of revolutionary changes with this mixer. It's meant to be a traditional DJM club style mixer, 4-channel mixer, going all the way back to the DJM 500s and 600s back in the day that I used to mix on. And so this doesn't look a whole lot different than that, in the sense that you can look at it and pretty much know what most things are going to do, even if you haven't touched a Pioneer mixer in a number of years. Now, that being said, it's a great deal larger than any other 4-channel Pioneer DJ mixer I've ever touched, so it does have a much more imposing presence about it that you might get from something like a Zone 96 or another large mixer like that. But unlike some of those other mixers, the DJM-A9 is very straightforward. I've made complaints about other mixers like the Zone 96 being a very fussy design up here, and that's just not true of the A9. When you look up here, you know what everything does, or you can tell very quickly, right? You've got your mixing section here in the middle that hasn't changed for decades. Everything to do with effects is, over here and over here for the sound color effects. You've got a mic section, you've got 2 headphone sections, and your master output, big old screen, and then some maybe you're not sure what the multi-IO stuff does over here. That might look a little different. And you've got a Bluetooth pairing button, but outside of that, this looks like a Pioneer mixer, and that's a good thing, right? They don't want to make revolutionary design changes. This is just bringing it, up to date technology-wise and giving it kick-ass sound quality. Now, that being said, one thing that I do like about the A9 is how multi-DJ friendly it is. Not only do you have the USB A and B up here, which these little covers are very nice, by the way, to keep the dust out, but you have your USB, different types, your USB-C and A types in there. And so, of course, just with the last mixer, you can connect multiple DJs to multiple laptops and they can use their own software with independent sound cards. But there's a really nice dual Q system on the DJM-A9, and I like how they've done this, where the Q buttons, they look basically the way they always have, and then there's just a slightly smaller Q button next to those, your QB. And so if you have plugged headphones into your headphones A jack right here, and then your other DJ plugs them in here on the front to headphones B, then you can select which ones you're monitoring in those headphones, right? I can quickly look at this. I can tell, which buttons are lit up, so I can tell which, if I know that I'm using the black Q buttons because I'm DJ B, so I can see which of those are lit up at a quick glance. Same thing with DJ A. So, without making this whole thing look crazy, I can still tell, at a glance, really quick information that I need to know. You can control your headphones A here and your headphones B here, right? So you've got your link Q and mono split on both sides, and then your level and your mix here for each one. And again, they're not much different except for the headphones B given a slightly less priority on the mixer. The knobs are smaller, the section is smaller, but you have the same controls, they do the same thing, and I think that's really great. Also, the beat effects buttons here light up depending on what's selected over here, which channel your selected effect is going to. And this is a little bit different than before. These little buttons here, used to be a select knob just like that, and you would select either channel 1, 2, 3, 4, or mic, or master, whatever. Now you've got buttons here, which takes up a little more space, but I don't know, I guess at a glance it's nice to be able to see and be able to tap that button really quickly. I did check to see if you could do one of these and hit multiple buttons at a time. Unfortunately not. The other thing to talk about with effects, the color effects here, the sound color effects, there's this new center lock function here, and if I enable this, what happens is if I'm twisting one of these knobs, say I'm doing a filter sweep, a lot of DJs will want to start either low or high and then go to fully open, stop in the middle. They don't want to go past that point. Well, that center lock will actually stop you, so I'll kind of demonstrate here as best as I can. I'm going to keep twisting, but it's going to stop me at the 0 point. Okay, I promise I'm still trying to turn, but it's not going to let me. Now, as soon as I stop putting pressure on it, it will let me continue turning, right? Same thing the other way. It stops me. Let go of pressure, right? So that's all that does. That's just so you can get a perfect 0, and it's, defeatable. So if you don't like that, you do feel that detent a little bit, that click, but it won't stop you from doing a full low to high sweep or whatever you want to do there. That's actually a pretty nice function. I gotta say, it makes me nervous, like to just have that feeling of it mechanically stopping me. I hope that that's not something that breaks, because while it is a nice feature, I would worry about excited DJs. Over here on your mic section, you get a couple of very basic effects here for your mic: an echo, a pitch effect, and a megaphone. You can adjust a very simple parameter there. Just a little independent mic effects thing that doesn't take up your beat effects over here, and also an independent reverb. So if you just want to add a little bit of a reverb to take the dryness out of your vocals a little bit, then you can do that and not take up any of your effects stuff over here, which is kind of nice. Though you can also, of course, apply beat effects to it by just selecting it there with the mic button. This is supposed to be an upgraded Magvel fader, and I must say it feels quite nice. Now, this isn't, let's say, the Magvel Pro that you would get in like an S11 or S7, so there is no tension adjustment or anything like that that you would find on a scratch mixer. That being said, this is definitely ready for some scratch action. This is nice and buttery. Now, the back of the A9 is actually quite straightforward, as you can see. You have your send and return network stuff here, so if you want to incorporate like an effects box or guitar pedals or something like that, you can put that in right there and then control them using the multi-source I/O controls up here. You get 2 ground pegs, and you have 4 phono preamps, so you could hook up 4 turntables to this mixer if you so desired. You've got your record and master outputs here, and your balanced 1/4-inch booth outputs that you would all expect. And then, of course, you have digital inputs on the A9 as well. And so you could connect digitally your players to these digital coax ports right here. And if you had a master digital coaxial output to connect to a house mixer or something like that, you could connect it there. And there is a link port on the back of this mixer so that you can connect it to your Pro DJ Link network, but for some strange reason, there's still not an Ethernet hub built into the back of this thing, like basically all of its competitors do. So I'm not sure why they haven't included that yet. Seems like something that would be a priority by now. They do have this Bluetooth and Wi-Fi antenna, and I've got to say, I'm not a fan of how this is just kind of hanging off here. Seems like it would be easy to break, but that being said, it is removable. Now, see, I just dropped it, but it is removable and replaceable, and you don't have to have it on here if you're not using it. So if I had this at home, I would probably leave that off, only connecting an antenna if I really needed to, and we'll talk a little bit more about what this does here in a moment. Stagehand is an iPad app which enables you to keep an eye on tons of information and remotely adjust settings on DJM-A9 and CDJ-3000s that are networked together. Now, the purpose of this is for, say, sound engineers to be able to remotely control the setup. So it makes it way easier to do stuff like a sound check without having to walk back and forth to the stage. Now, at a large-scale festival, this could save tons of walking. Also, you can see and fix potential problems on the spot, such as a disabled limiter or the DJ having too hot of a signal and so on. So essentially, this is a sneaky way for sound engineers to do their job without hovering over a DJ's shoulder. Now, there's a slider that says Live Mode, which will keep the admin from making changes while the live DJ is actually performing. This turns you into more of a strict monitoring mode. Now, you can see here that my devices are linked, but since I didn't have any CDJ-3000s in the room today, I can't really show you this tab. You can actually see and control what is playing on the CDJ-3000s. You can even use the beat grid and BPM and time information to help create effective lighting displays. So as a performer, I guess I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, I definitely see the benefits, but there is a weird Big Brother is watching vibe to this. Still, I think it's an overall good thing that really solidifies this as a piece of pro-level equipment. Now, that being said, once you're on the same network together, the Stagehand app just starts, working. There's no username and password, there's no PIN or two-way authentication. It didn't even ask if I was sure, it just started working. So let me be very clear here. Do not connect your DJM-A9 to the public Wi-Fi network at a venue. I repeat, do not give open access to your whole DJ setup to a crowd of idiots. The only security I could find in place here involves you having a separate and secure network for such things. And so there you have it, folks. That is the DJM-A9. Now, again, this is not going to make any serious, crazy, revolutionary changes outside of, the redoing the audio circuitry and giving you that good sound quality, because that's not what Pioneer is ever setting out to do with the DJM series of mixers. Occasionally, Pioneer will come out with something like the V10, which is a little bit different, a little bit more niche, but ultimately they really want to keep this 4-channel club festival mixer form factor thing basically the way it is, and just make incremental changes. And once again, that's what this does. You take the superb audio circuitry of the V10, you shove it in here, and you make, this is kind of almost like a Nexus 3 900 in that sense. So it's not vastly different, but it is better. Whether this is the mixer for you is going to really come down to how you like the workflow of a mixer to be for you. Now, once again, this is a very straightforward, simple, standardized mixer layout that we're all familiar with if any of us have mixed on 4 channels before. Whereas something like the Zone 96 or the Play Differently mixers offer similar feature sets, but really change up the style of mixing, add some analog circuitry into the mix, and so that's the kind of echelon of stuff that we're talking about here with this mixer. So the fact that this is the new standard for, big installations can only really mean that sound quality at these big shows is only going to improve, which, in my opinion, can only be a good thing. So with that in mind, I welcome our new DJM-A9, and I hope you will too. If you're interested in getting one of these, once again, head over to thedjhookup.com. I'll leave a link down in the thing below. They're great, and they will take care of you. So once again, I'm David Michael. This has been Passionate DJ, and as always, keep on spinning.